somebody said, one of my battle buddies said that Trayvon Martin deserved to die because he wasn't nothing but a thug or a criminal. And it hurt me because we don't talk about race in the military. We're all one color. We're green, and we're going to fight this war, and, we will all lay our life down for one another. But it seems like when we go on leave back to our families, we live different lives. So she doesn't know this, but it affected me to this day. And I graduated from St. Leo University with a bachelor's in sociology, and I decided to take on criminal justice because I have 4 sons, and I fear for their safety. And I definitely think education starts at home. And my goal is to get criminal justice taught in elementary school. It really needs to be 4th and 5th graders. I shared during lunch a story about my 6-year-old son. We went to the 7-Eleven, and he's seen a gentleman get arrested in handcuffs, and he saw 3 different police cars. And the first thought that he had was for us to run because we may get arrested. And I don't want my son running from the police. I don't want him to fear the police. But what are we to think when we see these things happen on TV and in the media? Just recently in Virginia, a police officer is under fire for saying to middle school children, "Wait till you turn 18, your ASS's are mine." This is the same place where they're proposing a bill to put forward for those who kill a law enforcement officer should be put behind bars or face execution. My problem with that is, where are the policies that protects unarmed people that die? There's no policies in place, but we have a policy that could be put in place to protect police officers. And I am not anti-police officer at all. I love police officers and military people and, pretty much everybody. But I think we all need to be protected. I think all lives matter, just like blue lives, just like black lives. And I did share the number of officers that died in 2018. There were 52. I have statistics there. And then these, I wanted to name all of the people, and I did this on purpose because I wanted you to look at the names and the ages and where they're from and how they died, of gunshot, and the dates or whatever, because I want you to know that these people are important. And we definitely need policies in place to protect us. And a lot of things we can look at is the one thing that they always get off on, police officers. I fear for my life. Yeah. And that is very hard for me to believe because as a soldier in the United States Army that deployed to Iraq 3 times and 1 to Afghanistan, I have locked and loaded my weapon on 1 occasion. I always fear for my life being a female, but I always seen people as people. When I went to deploy in Iraq and we worked with local national people, they were people. People. I did not treat them any differently. I was able to supervise. I was able to provide security because they are people. And I treat you according to your actions. And I think that theory of W.E.B. Du Bois, double conscious theory, is so close to my heart because I feel like I am 2 people. I'm a black person and I'm an American citizen. But how will police officers see me if I'm being stopped? Would they give me the same regard as my white friends, my white peers? I don't know. It's always that doubt in my mind. But I try to think positively and I try to see the best in all people. But one of these people can easily be me or my child. So who is fighting for policies for us, for unarmed citizens? Who? We have them fighting for police protection. And yes, we need to protect our police. Police are very important and they have very important jobs. But I think a way to that is to have community policing. They should be involved in our communities. They should come to schools. They should talk to kids. They should not fear police officers. Another thing too is a lot of times they won't be charged, they'll be fired, but they can go somewhere else and be rehired. Why don't they have a registry for the people who do excessive force and racial profile? What about maximum sentencing for officers that use excessive force? A lot of times it's not a surprise when officers use excessive force because sometimes in their records they have a history of it, but we ignore it. Lately in the media, there has been cases where civilians call the police on Black Americans for doing whatever, swimming, the dog park, anything, and that's wasting taxpayers' dollars. And nothing happens. Why can't we hold them accountable? Why can't we charge them with a hate crime? Why? It is ridiculous. And it's ridiculous for people to use law enforcement as a weapon. And that's how they are being used, as a weapon to execute, I think, minority men and women. And it's very sad, and it's a very scary time. I think it needs to be more community dialogue. I think we should not be divisive. That's why I didn't come in here like a Black Lives Matter, because I want to have some kind of dialogue on how can we move forward in this. How can society create an open dialogue on influencing change to focus on wisdom, knowledge-based awareness? What are the consequences for law enforcement who wrongfully kill civilians that they are sworn to protect? How can there be justice for law enforcement when unethical behavior in some police departments they're rarely held accountable for? We talk about the death penalty, but we are protected under the U.S. Constitution by the 8th Amendment. We should be, from cruel and unusual punishment. So why? And then on top of that, there has been studies saying that the death penalty does not deter crime. So why are we making it a policy for when people kill law enforcement officers? And I researched that there has not been an officer that was killed in Virginia. I couldn't find one. Now, their lives do matter. Like I said, I'm not anti-police. I am anti-police getting away with murder. I think we need to talk about this. I think it's something that should not be avoided. I think that we should be comfortable. I think that there should be more policies in place, equal across the board. If we set a high standard for law enforcement officers, we need to set a high standard on civilians. I think that we also need to focus on the social factors that contribute to violence in impoverished communities, because mainly that's where a lot of this takes place. And that whole fear concept is, what are you really fearing? I mean, I just can't understand, like, a person that's going through the police academy and you're taking on this responsibility to protect people. What are you fearing? I just remember every time I deployed, I just was ready. I was ready for anything. And I just...
Yeah, but you were better trained.
And that's another thing.
you know, that maybe if we trained our police officers better, it wouldn't be
Right,
as.
to handle situations. We definitely need to train. I definitely think there needs to be some kind of diversity training. All kids with hoodies and walking in groups, they're not up to no good. My sons, they love hoodies. They love going to the basketball courts. But it's so sad that I have to carry your cell phone. Don't run from the police. Tell them your name. Give them my phone number. We have to rehearse this. And it's something that I don't want to have to do, but it's so necessary. And they're so innocent. They don't really see color or anything like that. They don't care. Everybody is everybody, and they think the world is a better place. When my 14-year-old said, "Mom, that doesn't happen anymore. All police officers are not bad police officers." And I'm like, "Son, I know, but I just want to prepare you." So they're young, they're gullible, they're naive, but I just really hope for a better society. I just hope for better policies. I just hope that we can work out this problem with the Black community and law enforcement officers, because people are dying and there's no accountability.
Unnecessarily.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's no
Okay.